Summary of The Man Who Would Be King by Rudyard Kipling. Peachy Karnhan is a white guy who is intending to extort money from a local prince when the narrator, who is a newspaper correspondent, encounters him when the narrator is traveling across India in a second-class train. Karnhan asks the storyteller to give Daniel Dravit, a friend of his, a message. Because he and Karnhan are both Masons, the reporter agrees to do this. A few days later, Karnhan and Dravit show up at the office of the person telling the story. They are making plans for a mission to take over Kafiristan, and they want the narrator to give them books and maps to help them plan their trip. The narrator says that Karnhan and Dravit are stupid and will probably die before they reach their goal. But Karnhan and Dravit say that they have signed a contract that says neither of them will have anything to do with women or drink until they are kings of Kafiristan. They think that this deal shows that they mean what they say. The storyteller doesn't want to help them, but he or she does. Dravit and Karnhan go to Kafiristan while pretending to be a crazy priest and his helper. They sneak 20 British martini guns with them. The narrator hears that they made it across the border, but she doesn't hear anything else for a while. The storyteller is back in his office 3 years later when he gets a guest. Peachy Karnhan is there, but he looks so old and scarred that the reporter doesn't know him at first. Karnhan talks incoherently and seems a little crazy as he tells the story of his adventures in Kafiristan with Dravit. Karnhan says that when he and Dravit get to Kafiristan, they take sides in a local fight right away. Since the people there only have bows and arrows, Karnhan and Dravit have no trouble taking over. Karnhan tells the listener over and over that everyone in Kafiristan is white, fairer than you or me. Karnhan and Dravit teach the farmers in the area new ways to farm, set up a new legal system, train the men to be troops, and gain more control over the towns around them. Dravit tells the people they just started living with to make gold crowns for the two of them, and then they call themselves kings. It turns out that the people of Kafiristan are familiar with some Masonic symbols and rituals. Karnhan and Dravit use their superior understanding of these rites to say that they are gods, further solidifying their rule. From Dravit's point of view, this is a brilliant move. But Dravit is not happy just being king. He thinks that he can use the Kafirs to build a big empire because they are white, which makes him think that they could be as good as the English. As he tells Karnhan about his goals, he paces back and forth and chews his beard, which is one of the first signs that he is going crazy. Dravit also wants the Kafirs to give him a wife, breaking the agreement he made with Karnhan. Karnhan tells him this is a bad idea, especially since the people are against it and say that they think any woman who marries a god will die. Dravit won't give up, so the Kafirs give him a woman. But she is so scared that she bites Dravit and makes him bleed. When the Kafirs see this, they understand that Dravit isn't a god after all, he's just a man, so they rebel right away. Dravit and Karnhan run away with a few troops they trust. At this point, Dravit has gone crazy and is going on and on about being a ruler while Karnhan tries to get him out of danger. When the rebels catch up to them, they cut Dravit's rope bridge, which causes him to fall to his death. Karnhan is put on a cross between two pine trees, but when he makes it through the night, the Kafirs say it was a miracle and set him free. As he finishes telling the storyteller his story, Karnhan opens the bag he is carrying. Inside is the chopped head of Dravit, still wearing a golden crown. Later that day, the narrator sees Karnhan on the side of the road, crawling in the dust and singing to himself. He seems to have gone crazy. Karnhan is taken to a mental hospital by the reporter. A few days later, he finds out from the director of the hospital that Karnhan died of heat stroke. The bag with the crowned head of Dravit can't be found anywhere.
About the author. Rudyard Kipling was born in India on December 30, 1965. His parents were English. Kipling's Indian nanny took him out to see the streets and markets of Mumbai when he was a young boy. This experience stayed with him for the rest of his life. At age 6, he was sent to England to get an English education. He stayed there until 1882, when he went back to India and worked for local newspapers for a few years. During this time, he started writing books and short stories, which became very famous in England very quickly. After living in India for 7 years, he went back to England and got married there. He and his wife stayed in Brattleboro, Vermont, for a few years before moving back to England in 1896. Kipling's work kept getting more and more well-known, and in 1907, he won the Nobel Prize for writing. At the start of World War I, Kipling was a strong backer of the British side. But he also didn't like how the British Army fought the war, especially after his son John was killed at the Battle of Loos in 1915. It's hard to say what Kipling's current impact is. His short stories for children are very popular, and some of his work shows how much he loves India and its people. At the same time, he was attacked by a lot of people for supporting British Empire.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.